You've been sold a lie on AI copywriting, and it's setting you up for a big fat fucking failure. See, all you're gonna see online right now is how AI copywriting is the easiest path to being a millionaire, and you know, I just sign clients and I let the robot do all the work. But deep down you're thinking to yourself, something doesn't sound right. It can't be this easy. And I'm here to tell you that you're kinda right. Now, if you're wondering who the fuck is this guy and why should I listen to him, my name's Jay and my words have sold over $27 million worth of products online. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to combine the two most important skills that you can possibly have, as well as a 4-step roadmap to 10K a month as a copywriter. So this is your 4-step path to 10K a month as a copywriter. This is you up at $0 right now. And your first step is going to be learning some copywriting fundamentals. The second step, we're going to learn how to use AI to write the copy. The third step is client acquisition, and then the step 4 is going to be scaling to 10K a month. And if you follow all of these steps, within 3 to 6 months, you could be at 10K a month if you do the work. Okay, so the first thing that we're actually going to cover here is what is copywriting? Because some of you might be complete beginners and you don't even know what copywriting is. So we're going to start at the very basics. What is copywriting? A lot of people get this mixed up. It's not just writing pretty words, or it's not even being able to write perfectly. It's actually quite the opposite. The best description that I can give you is copywriting is the science of human psychology applied through words to trigger specific actions. Now, if you want me to simplify that even more, it's basically we're writing words in order to get people to do stuff. Now, you see copy everywhere. Even if you don't know it yet, you see it everywhere. It's on websites. It's in video scripts, it's in emails, it's in social media posts, product descriptions, ad copy, UGC scripts. Even the titles and thumbnails of YouTube videos are copywriting. Now, this is a big difference. A lot of people think when they get into copywriting, they need to be super creative. You actually don't, because a lot of it is formulas and just understanding customer psychology, which I'm going to get onto in a little second. But there's a big difference between being able to write well and copywriting. So writing communicates information, whereas copywriting motivates behavior. So we're not writing novels, and it doesn't really need to be like creative writing. You don't need to be a good writer to be able to do this. But copywriting motivates behavior. This is a really good example of copywriting. The iPod. Now, storage for 1 gigabyte MP3s. Now, a lot of people are like, what does that even mean? Or 1,000 songs in your pocket. That's a really good example of what copywriting is, and it's kind of another example of benefits over features. So that is what copywriting is at its most fundamental level. Now, the type of copywriting, you've got brand copywriting, and then you've got this. This is the one that you really need to learn if you want to make money, which is called direct response marketing. And basically, direct response is any type of marketing that demands an immediate, measurable action from the person who sees it. Now, the best example that I can give you here is if we start a Facebook ad campaign and we spend $100 on it, we're going to get some data back from that, like how many people have clicked through, have anybody bought from it, and that's kind of what direct response marketing is. It's not sending out flyers and building brand awareness and getting your name out there. It's putting marketing out there so that in return you either get email sign-ups, or most of the time we're going to be talking about getting revenue, purchases in. Now, some principles of direct response, this could be an 8-hour lesson in itself, but here's some basics. You need to know your market better than they know themselves. So when you're writing a piece of copy, let's say you're writing a landing page for someone, you really need to know what it is they want, what phrases and language they use, and what keeps them awake at night. What is their pain points? You need to know them better than they do in order to speak to those pains and then present your solution. If you don't know anything about your market, the landing page that you write, when those people get driven to that landing page, they're not going to understand it. It's not going to call out to their personality or their pain points or their desires. So you need to know your market inside out. The next thing, make an irresistible offer. Now, don't get ahead of yourself and start thinking like Hormozy, like, oh, I need to like, Hormozy does it really well, but when I say offer, this is what I mean. What do they get? What it costs? Why they need it now, and what happens if they don't act. It's the package. So, tiger snus, right? when I buy this, right, it's just nicotine and it's £5, right? But I'm not buying that. I'm buying cognitive enhancement. I'm buying it because I need it now because it's on sale. If I don't buy this, then I'm not going to be able to work as well. That's what the way that you're thinking about it, as in an irresistible offer. It's not just the product or the service or whatever you are writing for. Remove all risk. So a risk reversal, kind of like a guarantee. Try it for 30 days. If you don't love it, keep it anyway and we'll still refund you the money. The better your product is, the better your guarantee can be, and the better you can remove risk, the more money that you're going to make essentially. Create urgency. So this is something that I've even experienced myself, even on my own newsletter. People buy when they have to, not when they want to. If I send out an email and I say the price is going up tomorrow, people will buy. But if I never put that email out, then people are not going to buy. So you always need to be creating some sort of urgency. It doesn't need to be price going up. It could be limited time sale, limited time bonus. If you buy this product now, you get another one for free, but only lasts until tomorrow. That's the way that you need to create urgency. Another part is tell stories that sell. So you don't just want to, again, I'm going to use the snus as an example. Like, if I was trying to sell this to someone, sell me this pen. If I was trying to sell this to someone, I would be like, you know, well, me and all of my mates, since we started using this, feel like we're sharper cognitively, don't get as tired as easily. My eyes feel like they're more, I feel like I can see the screen better when I'm taking this. And I would tell a story about how this works, because what stories do is they bypass logical objections and hit emotional triggers. Because if you tell a story about someone who is very similar to that ICP, they're going to relate to it, and then they're going to be like, I need this product. So that's why you tell stories that sell. The next part of learning copywriting, remember we're still in learning copywriting, is awareness levels. So again, this could be another 6-hour lesson, but very simply, Eugene Schwartz, great copywriter, brought out this, come up with this 5 awareness levels, right? So level 1 is they're completely unaware. So these people in the market, in the TAM, which is your total addressable market, they don't even know that they have a problem. They don't know anything about your product. They don't even know that they have a problem. Level 2 is problem aware. They know that they've got a problem, but they don't know if there's a solution. Level 3, solution aware. I know solutions exist, but I don't know that your solution exists. Level 4 is product aware. I know about your product, but I'm not convinced yet. And level 5 is I want your product, but I just need the right offer. Now, the reason that all of this is very important is because the people who are, let's say here, they need educational style content and copy and ads. Like, if we were to sell something to do with indigestion, and I'm just thinking about an ad here, we would need to educate these people, and it would be like, well, this would actually be kind of problem aware. So like, these people need education as well. So let's say we're writing for this, we would be like, did you know that the reason that you've got indigestion is XYZ? And then you're educating them on why they've got the problem, and then you tease a solution. If people are solution aware, you need to make your solution better than everyone else's. So that's when you use stuff like unique mechanisms and why everything that you've tried before doesn't work and this does work. And again, we get down to like most aware, I just want your product. They just need the best offer, risk reversals, guarantees, etc. So that's why awareness levels are so important. Okay, so by this point, you should have a basic level of understanding of what copywriting has at its most fundamental level. What I suggest you do is go into stuff like ClickBank, read all of the top offers, sign up to a bunch of newsletters, read this thing on a daily basis, and that's going to train your brain and to understand what good copy looks like. But let's get into step 2, which is using AI in copywriting. Now, there's a few different steps to this. There's one part of this that is the most important. I want you to try and guess in the comments and tell me which part of this you thought was the most important part. I'm going to tell you in a few seconds. But first of all, research. You've got tools like ChatGPT Deep Research, Clot has a research functionality now, and what we're trying to research is all of those things previously. Remember, understand your customer, awareness levels. We need to find what people in the market for, whatever offer you're writing for, what awareness level they're at, what language do they use, which phrases do they use, how do they describe their problem, and we do that in the research phase. From the research, we then create a brief. Now, a brief is going to look similar to this, so target audience analysis, what do they say about their problem, the core problem, the language of the customer, other solutions, root cause analysis, solution, what is our product, what's the details of it, how are we going to handle objections. We create that from our research. And then we have the idea. Now, if you said idea was the most important part, you're right. Because having the best idea is what wins in this AI economy. Because AI can do all of the writing part for us. It's whoever's got the best angles and the best ideas. Now, what I mean by that is, let's say we're writing for some sort of fitness offer. A lot of people would be like, lose 30 pounds in 30 days. Whereas that's maybe not the angle that this ICP is looking for. Maybe this ICP is fathers over 40 and the angle is don't disappoint your kids. That is a much deeper angle, and that is where the best ideas win. It's at this point where you need to become this like idea generator guy, because this is the part that's going to set you apart from all of the other copywriters just using AI, because AI is taking care of the writing part. You need the best ideas to win nowadays. Next is going to become your prompt. So I'm going to show you one of our prompts. By the way, if you want access to this, click the link in the description. So we've got a bunch of prompts here. Let's go for like this one. So this is our prompt where we would write for like an info product. And this is a big massive prompt that gives it instructions on how to write a landing page for a certain product. And we go through all of this, and then we would add our brief from before, and we would add in our own idea of what we think we should use here. Then finally, that's going to spit out a piece of copy. After that, we need to do another part which is called copy chiefing it. And that is where we take it, and it's more than editing. We're possibly going to have to jump back to this part, which is like, does this sound right? Is this idea really going to hit? Let's look at competitors. What ads are they running? What emails are they sending? We're going to look back at idea. And we might need to go through this part a few times, and that is what the copy chiefing part is. But it's this part and this part that is really going to set you apart from all of the other copywriters using the AI. And that is where you need to really nail down your ideas, and that is why step one is so important. You need to really understand the fundamentals of direct response marketing and copywriting fundamentals. Right, so by this point, you know copywriting fundamentals, and you also know how to write some copy with AI. Step 3 is actually very simple to get clients. It's not easy, but it's simple. So you want to choose who you want to work for. E-commerce products, selling physical products, skincare, health products, supplements, that kind of stuff, or info products. Info products is people who sell in courses, coaching programs, masterminds. Now, if you're reaching out to e-commerce, I suggest you just buy a list from like Fiverr. And I'll tell you why it's easier to do that in a second. But you can get a list of like 500 leads for like 40 or 50 bucks. A lot of people are going to say, oh, but those leads get smashed by everyone else. I'll tell you why it's different for us in a second. So for info, if you want to work with info products, you're going to need to search through Instagram and YouTube for creators making content on a particular subject that have some sort of coaching program or course. Think how to start a pressure washing business, how to get a job as a graphic designer, how to play chess better, how to lose weight. All of these things are all info products, and you need to search through Instagram and YouTube for creators. There's thousands of them out there. If you can't find creators who have these, it's just a skill issue, because there's thousands of leads out there, but millions of leads probably. Everyone is trying to do this now. They're trying to make money through monetizing the own skill that they have or knowledge base they have. There's loads of people out here, and it's the same for e-commerce brands. There's new e-commerce brands popping up every single day. This thing about market saturation doesn't really exist if you're good. But anyway, after you've got your leads, this is what you're going to do. You're going to send hyper-personalized messages and sample work. So what does that mean? For e-commerce brands, you're going to send them emails. You could send them a sample ad script. You could send them a sample advertorial. These are all things that when you reach out to them, all the people who's going to say, oh, these lists get smashed and the leads are tired because people are cold emailing them all the time. The thing is, nobody is doing this. Nobody's sending hyper-personalized messages and samples because they think they can just automate everything with AI. If you find like an e-commerce brand and you say to them, hey, I was looking through your ad library, I noticed that you're running these types of ads, I wrote you a new ad script as well as a listicle landing page that you could drive traffic to, you're going to stand out so much more than the people who just said, hey, I can help you make 50K a month more, because they just know that that's automated. So you stand out so much more. And it's the same for info products. You reach out to them, hey, I wrote you a VSL, hey, I wrote you a landing page, hey, I wrote you some emails, check this out. And that is how you're going to get in contact with these prospects. Now, when we're speaking about numbers and how many of these you should do, there's not a specific number. You just need to do as many as you could possibly do. I'm going to drop a video where I managed to reach out to 5 info creators in 55 minutes. I found the lead, I wrote them samples, and I sent them a personalized message. So if you're saying that you're only managed to get like 1 a day or something, again, it's a skill issue. You just need to up your game. This is not easy, it's simple. Simple, not easy. So that is client acquisition in a nutshell. That's all you need to do. This is actually one of the most simple parts of it, but most people fail at this point because 1, they're too lazy, or 2, they get 1 week into sending 10 samples a day and then they're like, this isn't working, and then they just quit. You can't be that guy. If that is you, then don't even start it in the first place. This is only for people who really want to make this happen. Right, so now we're on to step 4, which is scaling to 10K a month. Now I'm going to say this and you're going to hate me. It is a numbers game. So if you're doing outreach, you should be able to pepper out outreach at this point because you've got AI to help you. For every 300 to 500 outreaches you do, you should be near enough signing a paying client. That's what I kind of worked out is about average. You can get lucky, you could sign a client and you could sign 2 clients in your first 50. It might take you 500 to sign 1. So how long is a piece of string? But you just need to keep banging out numbers. But you should be able to do 300 to 500 in around a month if you're really going for it. That means if the average client pays you 2.5K a month, that means that it's going to take you about 4 to 8 months to get to 10K a month. Now you have something else that's working in your favor here. You have compounding effects, which means that you get like this hockey stick growth. You might not sign a client till month 3, but then by month 6, you've got 7 clients. Like that's the way that this shit works. And remember, this only works if you work. That's the only way that this works. You actually need to be consistently sending outreach for minimum 6 months. Now, if you really go for it, you could get to 10K a month in 6 months. I think it took me 12 months to get to my first 10K month. But if you really go for it and really put your all into this, you could achieve it in 6 months. But what most people are going to do is they're going to do this for a month, then they're going to say, I've not signed a client, and then they're going to give up. But you've got to remember, you're building a business here. You're not just, this isn't a side hustle. You're not just trying to make a little bit of cash. You're building a real business. Therefore, it's going to take some work. And that's your 4-step plan to 10K a month as a copywriter. It might take you 6 months, it could take you 3, it could take you 12 months. The only way that you're going to get there is if you start and you don't stop. That's exactly how I got to where I am right now. Now, if you want a more in-depth roadmap on how to get there and access to all of my prompts and all of my direct response copywriting lessons, click the link in the description and grab that. But yeah, that is pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a comment on below and let me know what videos you want me to do next. I'm going to be pumping out a bunch of content over the next few weeks. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.